In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create these animations inside After Effects without using any plugins so that each one of you can learn from scratch. And I will also share some techniques so that you can master the smooth camera movement. So first, we will see how to make this animation, which I showed you in my recent camera video. And if you don't know how to use the camera, then you must check it out first. And in the end of the video, when most of the people will be gone, we will discuss some secret tips and tricks so that you don't bang your head on your system. So first, we will make a new composition and type some texts. And now, I will just duplicate the texts and change the texts to add more of them like this. It's really important to create texts separately. I'm adding these texts in such a way that I can bend it something like this. Next, I will center their anchor points towards the bottom corners like this, and do it for each of the text in such a way that when we scale it up, it emerges from that point. And that's why anchor points are supposed to be used for. Now we will simply expand scale property and scale it from 0 to 100%. And obviously, we will ease the keyframes so that our motion seems smooth. At this moment, our animation is looking like this, and this is the time when you will realize how we are going to turn it from this to this. So to move it like this first, make them 3D and press R to reveal rotation property, and here you just have to play with Y rotation, and don't just copy my settings. You can try to make it random, it doesn't matter. But for me, I've divided each text layers at equal angles just to make it symmetrical for the sake of tutorial. And if you hold Alt key and click your left key and hold it until its cursor changes to Orbit Camera Tool, and now you can move the camera effortlessly and see your scene at any angle. And you can zoom in and out by using the same thing, but with right click of mouse, and you can even pan the camera from pressing the wheel button. If you have used 3D softwares, then you might be familiar with these tools. But I don't think you would be here if you knew 3D software, so I told you. And remember these shortcuts? It really helps a lot. Now I will create a 2-node camera and parent 5 null objects back to back so that each null gets controlled by the one above it. And if anyone want to know why, then just snatch the milk bottle from the baby and go to the top comments to find the mystery. But in short words, it's used to overlap keyframes so that the movement doesn't stop during animation. Now this is the moment when After Effects users suffers mental breakdown and you have to use 100% of your brain to avoid it, and I will try to make it simple for you. So first we will select all the null objects and press R and this will bring rotation keyframes on all the null objects. We will start with the first null object and add keyframes to every one of them, which we are seeing right now. And this makes easy to explain you, and then we will see whatever angle suits best in animation. So you have to make sure that your keyframes are at the starting point of the text layers, and then move ahead where text finally completes its animation, and try to do something by which you can reach out this text. Now we will add some keys to rotation property and move ahead some frames after our text animation gets finished, and add some Y rotation to this, and I'm adding just a little bit of rotation because it's already showing up in the frame and we just have to add some motion, so a little bit of Y rotation is enough. And for the next text, we will move towards second null object and add some keys before completion of the first camera motion. Now we will add some more rotation keyframes to reveal our second text layers and just repeat this task for all of the text layers. And one thing which you have to keep in mind is you have to keep keyframes equally apart from one another in order to make smooth animation. And now our animation is looking like this, and I want to keep it always in center, so I will reveal point of interest property and try to align it in the center of this 3D space so that it can orbit around that point. But as we are currently working in 2D, we aren't able to place these points accurately, so we will switch to Draft 3D and increase the view by here so that you can see easily what's happening here, and I want you to switch to the custom view, and this will allow us to move in the 3D space without changing the camera position. In short, custom view is used to walk around in composition, and if you do the same thing in any other view, it will affect the camera. So here you have to select the camera, and if you see this line, then well and good. But if you don't,
Stop it. Get some help.
then use a 2-node camera and you will be good to go. And this is how we fix this issue. Now we will add depth of fields to the camera, so we will turn this on and move to focal length and aperture property and mess around with it until we can get something what we want. Just look at this, how amazing it's looking. But if you're still not able to see any changes at your side, then please turn off that draft 3D and return back to normal active camera. And now you can see the real depth of fields. And this creates depth. You can see the more text move from the focus point, the more it gets blurry. This makes your animation feel more premium. But if you apply deep glow on your texts, then it would be cherry on the top. Now next up, we will see how to create this animation. And I'm pretty sure you will learn how to place something which troubles most of the editors in After Effects. So first we will type some random texts here, then make them 3D. Now make your text 3D and place them in 3D space blindly. But if you have brain like me, then use this draft 3D button and use this slider to adjust the transparency. And now you have 6 eyes limitless technique and you can see outside your pre-comp. And this way you don't have to move camera randomly like a baby in every X, Y, and Z direction and hoping to land on a specific layer. So I'm going to place them outside the composition one by one like this, so that when we animate the camera, only one text shows at a time in frame. And make a simple camera setup with some nulls like before. Now we will use the first null object and use the position property to reach the first text. And we will do it one by one for rest of the text. And while doing it, you must give equal spacing between each keyframes, and this will be the key factor to make your edits feel more premium. Or in case, if you are doing it with a song, then mark the beats and then sync the keys with them. And on top of it, you can add any text presets using anything you want, and make sure to reveal it before the camera starts to move away from the text, and offset them like this. And now we will apply the easing to these keys to make this animation smooth. And this is how we created this animation. Now when everyone is gone, let's discuss some secret tips and tricks to avoid cursing the camera in After Effects. Choosing the right camera. Choosing the right camera is very important to avoid moving in 5th dimension. 1-node camera and 2-node camera is used for different purposes. If you want to rotate your camera while focusing on certain point, then choose 2-node camera because it has point of interest property, which help it to orient the camera all the time towards that specific point. And if your camera isn't rotating on the right spot, then use the custom view and make it rotate on the right point. And it's really important to know how to adjust this point accurately to avoid getting fucked up. On the other hand, if we choose a 1-node camera, we don't get any point of interest property. And this allows us to move the camera freely, and because there's no point of interest, our camera isn't focusing on anything, and it will rotate and move the way we want. And this is the type of camera which is mostly used in creating documentary animation, because this allows us to move between multiple scenes one by one easily. So that's the difference between 1-node and 2-node camera.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I hope you know which camera to choose now, but if you don't, then just cancel your Adobe subscription, which 99% of you don't even have. Placing layers in front of camera. Pacing layers in front of camera is one of the things which annoys most of the user because it seems when we click this magical button, our layer moves in 5th dimension and we don't know where it got teleported. So first let's see why it happens. Here are 2 text layers and I made them 3D and put both of them apart from one another. And now when I set up my camera and move them to go from first text layers to second, you can notice everything is working properly. But now if I'm adding another text and make it 3D, then it just got teleported, and if you go to the first text, you will see it will be sitting there, and you have to drag it manually to place it in front of camera. And sometime when you are working with complex scenes, and SSD prices, I control my pain and transfer it to my little brother. So if you don't want this to happen with yourself, then listen really carefully. Let's say you make any layer 3D recently and it disappeared. So in this case, you have to center its anchor point to the center, and you can do it by pressing Ctrl-Alt and Home key. And now you have to press Ctrl plus Home. And this will change the position property of the layer in such a way that selected layer will appear in front of your camera, And just make sure to select the layer, not the camera, for this to work. Now, some of you will cry and say, what's the home key? I can't find it in my keyboard. Well, for those I have 2 words. You are awesome. So if you don't have home key, just open the keyboard shortcuts and press Control Home on these virtual keyboard, and it will show the function which it performs. And now you have to learn what it says and type the exact shit in this search bar and add a new shortcut for this. And just make sure the shortcuts which you have assigned doesn't perform other functions, otherwise it won't work. Now this was for moving layer in front of a camera, but what if you want to move the whole camera in front of a layer? Well, in this case, you can use Ctrl-Alt-Shift and / key, and this will adjust the camera position in such a way that it will fit the layer which you have selected. So that's also a thing which most of the camera user don't know, and now you are ahead of them. Draft 3D and camera view options. Creating 3D animation on a 2D monitor is like drawing a cube on a piece of paper. I mean, both things are possible, but only with imagination. So if you are struggling with After Effects camera, then switch on this Draft 3D option. And when you turn it on, then you will realize how RTX 5090 will perform. I mean, just look at this, how smooth it is, like butter. And this made possible because when you switch to Draft 3D mode, it automatically deactivates the heavy effects like motion blur, depth of fields, lights and shadows, etc., which help it to optimize the performance of After Effects without pumping the NVIDIA stocks. On the other hand, if you click on this button, then it will add a ground plane, which help you to imagine where your layer's actually sitting in the spaces. And if you hold this button, it will show you a slider, and this can be used to adjust the transparency of things which are not part of your composition. And this helps to make you understand what is actually being seen in the active camera. Alright, my brothers and their sisters, I hope you like this video. If you genuinely feel this video helped to save you from getting fucked up, then you should like this video. And if you want to learn more tips and tricks about camera from the basics, then you must check out this video. Until then, shine like a star so that your relatives can get permanently blind.